mistake, they would be the one who would come out on top. We do see an experience lead coming from the Nexus Globetrotters because, as we said, they were willing to kind of take a strategic bubble when they could, and they did. And now they again control the dragon, the central dragon shrine. Is that a shrine?
Shrine, yeah.
So.
And they also were able to sneak a kill onto Uther, which enabled them to have a hero lead. And Bellamorte picks up the first Dragon Knight. Not 14 minutes, only halfway at 7. They're going to get a lot of damage done here as well.
Yeah, not 14 minutes, but still a fairly late grab on that Dragon Knight. Really a testament to how careful both of these teams are. And it makes sense as they are in our semifinal round. They've had to come a long way to get here. They know what they're doing. Bellamorte getting hooked. You can hook the Dragon Knight, so that can be a really scary situation, as once you pop out of the Dragon Knight, you are just naked in your own little hero self. So luckily he was able to get out of that before that happened, as he probably would have been surrounded by people who would rather see him dead. Excellent job by TBA on burning down that Dragon Knight so fast. They didn't really even take any damage off of the fort. That's awesome. That could have been disastrous. Now Keeper's getting rooted by Dylan. He has to stage dive out and will do so safely to the comfort of his friends there at the bottom who are trying to get some damage on the bottom fort. They're going to disengage, and Illidan takes off, tiptoeing away as they I know, right? So cute. Nexus Globetrotters gonna try to get that bottom bruiser camp, the only sort of middle camp. So that's definitely a contested camp, especially here as we head into the later game. They're definitely making a concerted effort to grab all of their mercenaries as fast as they can. Nexus Globetrotters doing the same thing, but maybe just a few steps behind. They still have the experience lead, but making sure that they grab all of these mercenaries is going to be really important. Now here, while we have a bit of a break, I did want to talk about a couple of interesting talents. Jaina picked the Water Elemental. So you've got Ring of Frost or you've got the Water Elemental, which you have to control. But Water Elemental, of course, it gets to cast spells. So that's pretty cool. Lately I've been seeing a lot more Ring of Frost, so I'm excited about the Water Elemental. And then, what else did I see? Oh! Stitches took Putrid Bile instead of Gorge, so he can't eat somebody, but he can run in and then drop his Putrid Bile, which does so much damage. It's incredible how much damage Stitches can do with the Putrid Bile. Yeah, it's interesting we don't see it very often because I've been playing with it a lot lately, and I love Putrid Bile. Me too. In team fights, it can just be the decider, and it's so much fun because it's a little bit hard to notice. So people can just kind of be running all over your damage-inducing poo and then find themselves dead. It's really good. There it is right now. Keeper's actually stage dives right into the Putrid Bile, and there we see the Elemental dropping a lot of damage on everybody, just hanging out right in the middle. Uther is going to die. So that's one healer down. Ravenous Spirit is dropped and immediately leaves Bishop getting so low. Illidan trying to get the kill, but they're trying to keep him alive. Dylan barely keeps Illidan alive. Or not Illidan, sorry, Nazeebo, while Illidan is killed by DeBears. That was some clutch healing coming out from both Malfurion and the Uther Ghost to keep that Nazeebo standing. It's impressive, actually, that Malfurion did survive and was able to get out and is coming back with so much health. Pushing right back into the Nexus Globetrotters, maybe not a great idea. It's probably better to push back and regroup. Yeah, just a little bit of a misstep there from Vala, but as well, the power slide can just instantly put an enemy ETC in your face, which is a frightening ordeal right there when you're a squishy Vala. I thought we might see another opportunity for the Nexus Globetrotters to grab the Dragon Knight, although Uther coming down in the bottom to contest, saying, nope, this is our shrine. And maybe we're going to see yet another balancing match between the two teams. Something to take note is that our TBA does not really want to get into a team fight right now. Nexus Globetrotters got those level 16 talents, their talent lead up. Level 16 is so important. So TBA is going to stay away, although they are going to say, you cannot take the dragon. We'll let you have the shrines, but we stop you at the dragon. There are limits to what we will allow.
For sure. Vala snuck up though and took the top shrine. That's so nice. It's a really scary point in the game when you're behind and you don't know if you should stay mid or if you should head up and try to, or down and try to take one of those shrines away. You never know. But they saw that all of Nexus Globetrotters were there in mid, and so they took a chance, went up and got the top shrine, and that really paid off. It took a lot of the pressure off of them. Good call there.
Yeah, it's all about the function of how much time you have and how much advantage you can take with it. And what Vala did was say, okay, team, you can handle this just for a second while I run and take that. And now we don't have so much pressure on us. And we can, wow, take our siege guns in the middle of a team fight.
Everyone's getting solo. Stitches and Uther do drop for the TBA, but it takes quite a bit. Then Vala is close behind, of course. It looked good for them at first because of the Bile and the Ravenous Spirit, but unfortunately for them, Rhaegar was just, and Tessar was able to keep everybody alive. Healing Ward, man, so good. And then, of course, Ancestral Healing as well. That can't be discounted. But it was a cool fight to see because for a long time, nobody was really dying, and it was like, where is this going to go? But they were able to just heal through that Ravenous, which was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like maybe the synergy for Nexus Globetrotters picks is really giving them an edge. Do you think, would you evaluate that that's kind of what's allowing them to come out on top in some of these skirmishes?
I mean, that was such a weird thing because they were all right there. So I mean, the synergy is definitely great for them. You can shield Illidan. Illidan can metamorphosize. The more that you can jump on people with metamorphosis, the stronger you are, and with all of them there, that was a great place for him to jump in. And as well, the ETC also was able to jump in, so it was kind of like a double whammy with the jump ins, and that's really kind of cool.
Yeah, now TBA saying, okay, again, we will be here and we will not let you take this dragon, because what Nexus Globetrotters has to do is not only stand there, but they have to wait and be uncontested for a little while before they can get that Dragon Knight. Looks like if Taskar had fallen back right there, probably could have grabbed the Dragon Knight, but instead opting to get into the fight and do tons of damage using the heroic, and was it worth it? We'll find out.
We will. He's getting very low, but Prescience and Dimensional Warp heals him way back up whenever he gets low, and he took the brunt of the Ravenous Spirit, so it didn't really take out anybody else because he took the brunt of it and then just healed right back up with his, thanks to his talents and abilities. There are a lot of stuns happening on Dylan. Bellamorte really does not want to let Malfurion pass, but he ice blocks. It's basically two healers versus Illidan, which is possibly the slowest battle of the life. He gets regrowth, he's trying to jump back on. He really wants to kill Dylan, but it's not happening. Stun, and he finally, Dylan and Nuddle get away, but during all of that, Kiefers has secured the Dragon Knight.
Yeah, in this game, it can't be said enough that you really have to be conscious of your positioning, and that includes body blocking. And what happened here was there were a couple situations where TBA just could not get their players in a position to contest that Dragon Knight, and I was surprised Nexus Globetrotters didn't take advantage of that earlier, but they finally did. And it's a really important thing to keep in mind that you can actually use your character just to stand in someone's way, and that can be a huge advantage in the game.
Yeah, an advantage and also a disadvantage if you stand in the way of your teammates when they're trying to escape as well. So yeah,
that has caused me a little bit of rage, I will admit.
Get out of my way, I'm about to die. Yeah, me too, I understand. TBA is doing a great job of taking out this Dragon Knight, getting low, pushing them away, keeping them off of that keep, which didn't take too much damage, although Bellamorte is there ready to jump in at a moment's notice should TBA get a little too greedy. But it looks like they're going to disengage, play it safe. They are on even footing for talents for just a few more seconds, but Nexus Globetrotters is about to get level 20, and I think they'll be trying to make something happen there.
Yeah, once they hit 20, they're going to know that they are in a prime position for a team fight, and being grouped up the way they are, standing around making sure that they're grabbing the mercenaries on TBA's side of the map, they are asking, please come fight us. We would like to kill you with our superior Storm talents.
There they are, the Storm talents are there, and Nexus Blades on Illidan means he's even scarier. Stitches tries to get a hook on somebody, but there, it's dodged impeccably by our Nexus Globetrotters, who are going to pick up these bruisers here.
Yeah, and they're noticing they have a little bit of time before their opponents are going to come anywhere near their talent level. So really smart play on their behalf, saying we have the room now, we have them pushed back as far as we need, and we can go grab their mercenaries. If they try to contest, we know we can fight them. We have patience. We will grab their mercenaries, and then we will go fight them.
Patience is key here. Keepers is going to power slide in, and here comes Illidan. But Ravenous Spirit is going to push them all a bit away. Kha'Zix is trying to kill Nazeebo, but is unable to do so. And it seems like, yeah, Illidan's going to drop. Rhaegar is going to drop. And did Nexus Globetrotters get a little too greedy?
They may have, and just having your level 20 heroic talents does give you a huge advantage, but it does not make you immortal. And in this case, with 3 down, Nexus Globetrotters is forced to retreat, as Jaina and Tassadar by themselves are not quite tanky enough to take on 5 players that are left for TBA.
Not so much. They are going to try to sneak those bruisers, while everyone from TBA is just trying to get this fort. They need this experience. They've got to get to 20. They've got 10 seconds until the next Dragon Shrine. They could possibly get an uncontested Dragonite, because if they get ready for those shrines, if they go straight there and prepare, which they aren't quite doing, but they probably will now, you know, everyone's still got 20 seconds up except for Illidan. So there's only Tassadar and Jaina up for Nexus Globetrotters, and I think we might be seeing our first TBA Dragonite.
You know, Heroes can teach us lots of things about real life, Gilly, and what this shows us, yeah, it can. Anxiety Lull and Kha'Zix really did not want to give up that Dragonite. They really did not want to give up their buildings, but they had to. And they could have stood around and tried to throw themselves into the fray, but they would have just cost their team even more. So they said, you know what opportunities has life given us? We're going to grab those bruisers. We're going to do whatever we can to prepare for the next fight. And that patience, I think, will pay off. That refusal to look at the dark side and instead looking for the lemonade as opposed to the lemons, if you will.
I think that that's excellent life advice. I think this game's also showing us that this game's not over until you see a core blow up. A lot of times people get frustrated because you're behind an early game, but as you've seen, one team fight can turn it around. Now, let's you know, TBA's still got more buildings down, and Nexus Globetrotters saying, you have the Dragonite, well, we're just going to push and try to get a keep from it. But they have caught up in levels. They are going to move back and force Nexus Globetrotters to push back just a little bit. They were able to get their first Dragonite, so it's definitely not over yet for TBA.
TBA making some interesting decisions with the Dragonite. The Dragonite looked like he may have been unsure of where to go originally. Even those few seconds of confusion can cost a team, and TBA is going to want to make sure that they're 100% all together with their planning. It looks like they are now, and they're doing a really nice push here against the mid. They're going to have to use that Dragonite to its fullest potential to secure their place in this later game.
I think they were really concerned because they saw our Nexus Globetrotters moving toward that bottom keep, but they started to move back and were even possibly going to take that Dragonite back. Although Keepers has jumped in, as has Bella Morte. Dylan is going to try to keep healing everyone, and the Ravenous Spirit is dropped, but stopped by ETC. Now Teeves gets killed, and everyone's stunned from Nuddles' Divine Storm. Bella Morte doing work on Icebox. Stitches drops. Nuddles going to be next. Probably there it is. Dylan's following, and Illidan is back. He said, you could kill me once, but I'm not going to let that happen again. And he is on the chase, and that's something that Illidan is very good at as De Beers drops. Can they get Bishop? All right, they're going to stop and follow. They're like, Illidan, calm down a bit, man. It's fine. It's fine.
You've done enough.
You've got enough.
He will take his aggression out now on this building, which will likely fall as well. And that's going to be a really great kind of mini comeback for Nexus Globetrotters, as they actually are going to proceed to the core. Now, this is an interesting choice. We talked about this earlier, that decision-making of saying, when do you push harder and when do you fall back to take other advantages? They did have other advantages on the map, but they opted instead to just wail on this core. Do you think they're going to have what it takes to bring it all the way down?
I think they're going to be able to do it. It's just Bishop there. They've got the shield down. That's the most important part. There's still Metamorphosis. Bishop is going to maybe be able to take out Anxiety Lull, but it doesn't matter. Illidan's got it. He takes it out. GG. That's a game for TBA. Nope, for Nexus Globetrotters. Sorry. Sorry. Got a little confused.
The hardest part is keeping the team name straight. I applaud you. And I applaud Nexus
is.
Globetrotters. Really, really clutch decision making, being willing to take that risk at the very end, saying, we know that we will get taken out one by one, but we know we have enough damage to deal in a short enough amount of time that we can take out the core now, and we don't want to give our opponents any room to take more advantages against us in this close game, so we're just going to take it all right now. And they managed to do it. However, how salty would they have been if they weren't able to take out that core and they had 3 mercenary camps on the map that they had plenty of room to take?
Yeah, you've definitely got to know exactly how much damage you can do with the people who are up with. And of course, they still had Metamorphosis. They could still do a lot of damage with Illidan. You've got to know how long it takes for the other heroes until they're back. And the main thing is at around 20 minutes, once you've got the shields down, it only takes like about 10-ish seconds when you're wailing on the core. So you just really have to know exactly how long it's going to take you and if you could take out that core. One interesting thing I wanted to note before we move on to game 2 is that what I thought was interesting is that both Vala and Zebo were, I think, carrying Vala for sure as far as hero damage was going. So even though they had the most hero damage, in the end, guys, it's all about taking out buildings, and our Nexus Globetrotters have way more siege damage, and you know, that'll make the difference. They had more Dragon Knights, and that's it. Game 1 is going to Nexus Globetrotters. I believe we'll take a break and get the next one set up, but we'll be back with Game 2 between the Nexus Globetrotters and TBA. Hello and welcome back to the Heroes Hype Amateur Series. We are in a best of 3 and I am joined by Anna. Hello, Anna.
Hello, Gillyweed. How are you?
I am doing great this evening. How are you doing?
I am doing fine. I just ate a giant powdered sugar covered cookie for the sugar rush, and because I like cookies. I have a few regrets, but I don't know. Maybe you guys will enjoy my random metaphors and puns as the sugar takes hold. We can only hope.
I want puns. Puns sound great to me. Let's switch over to the draft. We're, of course, on game 2 out of a best of 3 between the Nexus Globetrotters and TBA. This is going to break things. Oh, my goodness. For the first time, it didn't, and I have no idea why. What did it do? I have no idea. I'm just going to leave it alone. So it seems that TBA has elected to have first pick, first band. They are, Nexus Globetrotters won the first game between them. So TBA gets to choose whether they would have first pick or second pick. And they chose first. So they decided to ban Zeratul. And I believe that's maybe in response to Zeratul from last game a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, they don't want to play against that Zeratul, for sure. I don't see any other reason why you would first ban a Zeratul. I mean, I guess the stealth, if they really, really don't want to deal with stealth, but I think it probably is, like you said, in response.
Did Nexus Globetrotters have Zeratul last game, or am I thinking a different game? I can't even remember anymore. But I do know that Kiefer's is on Nexus Globetrotters, and Kiefer's plays a mean Zeratul. So that also, it could be person specific. I would not be surprised at all. Nexus Globetrotters once again banning Sergeant Hammer. We're on Dragonshire again for the second time in this best of 3. So we've talked about it before. Sergeant Hammer is so good on sieging when it comes to Dragonshire.
We haven't seen Sergeant Hammer played at all this entire series tonight, and we've seen Sergeant Hammer banned quite a bit. So really a testament to how Sergeant Hammer is being respected right now in the meta.
Yes, for sure. She is very strong, and especially strong in the late game because she can get that Nexus Frenzy. We've got Vala was the first pick from TBA.
Surprise!
No surprise there. We keep having Vala. And Nexus Globetrotters followed up with ETC and Uther.
Did they first pick ETC last time? I think they did, didn't they?
I think they did. I think they
so
really liked that
ETC really important to them. The clutch part of their team comp is ETC.
Yes. And a very quick Rhaegar Malfurion from TBA. So once again going, they've got 2 heals, 2 strong heals with the Rhaegar Malfurion. I'm wondering what Nexus Globetrotters will think of this as they pick their next 2 heroes.
They do have an Uther, who's a very strong, well-respected support. So we'll see if they'll go for their second support right away. If they do go for second support, I never want to assume, but I mean, we can really assume that most teams are going to go dual support these days. But with an Uther, we may see someone like a Tassadar or a Tyrande that's like a little bit more of a half support, depending on who they're trying to support and what they're trying to do. We don't see hide nor hair of Illidan yet, which we've seen a lot of lately. So I would assume that someone, there he is. Someone's going to be going for Illidan. So knowing that they're trying to support Illidan and that they don't have Rhaegar, do you think we're going to see another support? And if so, who?
I think a half support again would be an okay choice. Tyrande, Illidan, pretty good. We talked actually a little bit on Eye on the Storm recently. We covered the dual support meta, and one of the ways to counter it was to get the Uther. So we're seeing this exact testament here. We saw the Rhaegar Malfurion and then also the Uther because of his awesome stuns, and of course he does crazy heals of his own. And there we're seeing the half support like you talked about. Supporty assassin, assassiny support, whatever you prefer, Tassadar.
Subtassin.
Nexus Globetrotters